Hello, hello, hello. Good day, good day, good day, everyone. Good day. It's a lovely Saturday afternoon once again to be I'm praying seriously that the rain doesn't affect anything. My guest is ready. My guest is ready to unleash the dragon. He's ready to tear down the roof. He's a great guy. We've known ourselves back in the days. Back in the days. We graduated almost the same time, and he's been an amazing friend. And please don't tell him I told you. He's a pastor. Don't say that to him. Okay. Before we get on, I have something to share with you. First, if you are watching the replay, kindly drop your favorite emoji and tell me where you're being from. And also, don't forget to punch the share button. And once you share, drop hashtag share. And if you're watching me live, please tell me where you're being from. Drop your favorite emoji and also share. Tag your friends in the comment section. Anybody you want that person to benefit from this today's live streaming, tag the person in the comment section. Be a blessing wholesale. All right. There's so much to give out. Now, one of the things I'll be doing the first week of March, I'll be giving back to the society. I'll be conducting a training. It's going to be free training. You know, oftentimes when people tell you, I made money via this, I made money via that, I made money doing this, I made money doing that, and you are like in your head, how did this happen? How can I put one and two together to make this happen? All right. First week of this month, I'll be organizing a training, mentorship with the FBI coach. It's going to start on the 1st to 3rd of March, 2021. It is loaded. What are you going to gain in that training? Well, it's simple. I'll be sharing with you, teaching you how to move out of the theory to the practical. You know, people don't believe what you share, your business opportunity, how you share it. People show interest, but they don't take action. Those who took action don't get started, or they don't know how to start. And those who started aren't committed. You know, you lack duplication. So all that will be taken care of on this 3 days, for these 3 days, from the 1st to the 3rd of March, 2021. Is a free training, all right? And the link to register for this training, I'm going to drop it in the comment section. All right. Yes, the link is in the comment section right now. So you can copy the link, share with your team members, get everybody involved. Let's learn together. It's my own way of giving back to the society. You know, one of the things I also do that has given me a lot of leverage is affecting people's life, giving people opportunity to make money. All right. One of these days, I'll also share my story in another way. So that being said, don't forget to tell me where you're being from. Don't forget to drop your favorite emoji. And also remember to tag your friends on this video. My friend is ready, Ugochukwu. Remember, I said, don't tell him I told you that he is a pastor. He's a serial entrepreneur. He's a dogged friend. He's great. He's a great guy. He's a great guy. He's married, and he has beautiful family. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further waste of time, I'm going to bring my friend up. Hello, Pastor Ugochukwu. Oh, I mentioned it. Ouch. Good afternoon, my brother.
Good afternoon, sir.
You're welcome.
Good to be here.
Yeah, viewers, please drop your favorite emoji for Ugochukwu. Please, let's welcome him. Let's show him some love. You know, I feel like saying, let's give him a standing ovation. Let's give him a virtual standing ovation. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here today. And you're looking great.
Thanks, bro. You too.
As usual.
You too. Maybe I need to come around and steal some of those books at the background.
Ah, okay. You don't steal.
I stopped making my presentations at my library because several times after the presentation, people will start calling me for the books they're seeing in the library. So I just said to myself, I will not do that again. I had to change my background. Anyway,
so I have a very interesting rule. You want to read my books? Okay, fine. I have a desk here. You can as well just sit down, read as much. When you are done, you leave. You come back another day and continue. My books don't leave.
There's no borrowing.
It's a good to be here.
Thank you. So tell us about yourself.
Well, yeah, so my name is Ugochukwu Ezeagwula. I am a media entrepreneur. I've been in the media space for how long? For almost 2 decades. I remember
2004.
Yeah.
2003, 2000. It's more than 2 decades.
Yeah, I pretty much started from right from secondary school. You know, I was very clear about my path, even though I had to go into university and I studied civil engineering, but I mean, my path was so clear that, you know, when you do your graduation and the class decides to, you know, that class party they do and they give you an award, you know, I was awarded the most unlikely to practice civil engineering because, you know, at the time it looked like, oh, what is this? But really, you know, God now later made me understand that it just shows the clarity of your path. And if your path is so clear that, you know, even your colleagues can actually see, because I mean, right in school, we had different ventures. We had a computer school. You know, I was teaching web design at the time. You know, a lot of stuff that we did back then, and you know, it really was like building up equity for who we are today. And I really thank God. So I'm a media entrepreneur. I run a brand communication company, brand and strategic digital communication company called Identity Brand Concepts Limited. I'm also founder of Nigeria's first fully dedicated virtual event streaming company, which is called Virtual Events Limited, and also I'm also the founder of KUSA, which is a fully dedicated church media company, and I also serve on a couple of other, you know, companies as well. And I'm very, very active in community development. So I belong to a couple of organizations. I lead the Mascot, which is a leadership development platform for young professionals. I'm also very involved in an organization called Community Compassion Initiative, which is a non-governmental organization that tries to help the less privileged in society, the politically and economically underprivileged in society. And so that's me. So what I've been doing in the last 20 years thereabout, has just revolved around media, digital media, with strong bias for digital media. And I have very strong bias for digital media, even though I started as a graphic designer, then became a brand strategist, and then later found myself settling as a digital strategist, right? That must be the longest intro you had on this show.
Yeah, I think this is the longest, because the first long one was JSM, Solomon Jane, and this is the second longest one. In fact, yours has even exceeded him. You know what I've come to realize about we engineers? I've come to realize that I might be wrong, but 70% aren't practicing. We study engineering, but we are not practicing. That's I did a research, and the number of those who aren't practicing are much. Anyway, that's by the way. So, what do you have for us today?
I basically just came to interact, came to interact with you, and you have. I mean, it's a very interesting topic that you have, around entrepreneurship in the new normal, as it were, and it's a very, for me, it's a very interesting topic because I have a couple of experiential stories to tell about entrepreneurship in the new normal. And I think one of the most important things that, and when we talk about the new normal, we're talking about the realities that have come upon us, as a result of the changes that we are experiencing in our respective business ecosystem that has become what's it called now? The pandemic has actually made it more apparent. So it's not like these changes have not been happening, right? I remember I started studying deeply around the subject of digital transformation since like 6 to 7 years ago. But something so I just looked at it and look, there's a new normal that is coming. Like, look at, I think it was after the World Economic Forum 2016, where Klaus Schwab talked about the fourth industrial revolution. I think he was one that really christened the fourth industrial revolution, where he kind of like calibrated the dispensations that the world is gone through, calibrated into dispensations of industrialization. So, and then he then announced that we have entered into the fourth revolution, which is characterized by digital technologies and the unprecedented speed, of at which it's going to come at us. And so we're seeing new technologies, artificial intelligence, machine learning, all those stuff, and the impact is going to. So I got very curious, and then I started, doing a lot of study research around the subject of digital transformation. I actually even created training modules, which I used for some of the commercial banks at the time, because ultimately the bottom line of it is it's just about us having an innovative mindset, as it were. And so it's not so much about the technology, but it's about the competence that is required. It's things like, critical thinking ability, right? You have to be multi-directional in terms of your thinking as per problem solving. So it's not just about you going to work, and doing a routine, but it's about you going every day and knowing that you are solving problems, and the problems are going to come in complex dimensions. So how critical can you think, in addressing those problems, preferring solutions, and all that. So over time, that's been. So it's the new normal did not start during the pandemic. What the pandemic just did was that it just brought to the surface what has been happening. And unfortunately, for those who had not been positioned, it came like a shock. It came like a shock. I tell you a story, for instance. I run a very lean, operation. It's a digital company majorly, and really, there's no reason why all my team have to, come to the office all the time. But the Nigerians set up that, look, we shall want to see ourselves. I have to see them to be sure that they are here, they are working. And interestingly, early 2020, after on the first day of resumption, as we came together, the head of content, who is like the most senior member of the team, just said to me, he said, Ugo, like, I'm not sure we can. And by the way, prior to then, they have been coming to work, like, they come to work 3 times a week. So they come Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And then, they will come 4 times, Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Friday, and Wednesdays and Thursdays. So Friday off. And then they came and she said to me that, look, I think we need more time because we spend a lot of time on the road. And that was, if you know, early last year, we had a lot of construction going on in Lagos. Commuting was very frustrating. And they came with a strong case. And for me, it's not a problem. So what we did was that we now said, okay, some of the collaborative tools that we were using, said, okay, let's invest in additional tools so that we can have a free flow of work. You can work from anywhere you were. And that was before the pandemic, before the lockdown. Before the lockdown, the pandemic had just started, in China and all that. But there was, before January. And he said, okay, that's fine. No, there's no problem. I have no problem. I put all the technology in place. You guys can work from wherever you're working. And, and everybody was happy. And we work, and productivity even increased, as it were. And then at the end of the day, you discover that 3 months, 3 months down the line, there's a lockdown, no movement and all that. It didn't affect us, right? Because there's been a positioning, right? And then also, like I talked about also, it's about innovation. It's about how you can critically think about problems and how you can think about the solutions, to those problems. So the new normal is something that has actually been, but the pandemic just brought it to the fore. And so the people that are not able, that are organizations that are not agile, entrepreneurs that are not agile in their approach, right, now find themselves in situations where they are unable to easily navigate. And that's why one of the things I tell entrepreneurs is that, entrepreneurship journey, whatever you do, always make sure you travel light. Always make sure you travel light. Don't complicate your processes, right? Because the moment you complicate your processes, navigating uncertainties become a major challenge, right? So I see a lot of people investing in things that they have no business investing in. So for instance, I give you an example. Rather than invest on physical infrastructure in terms of technology, right? Rather than invest in physical infrastructure, I'd rather invest in cloud-based solutions, right? So because I know that whatever happens, right, anybody can work as long as you have a laptop. You don't even need your own laptop. As long as you have a laptop somewhere, you can actually work. That's a simple and typical example of you as an entrepreneur traveling light, right? I see a lot of businesses prioritize, buying physical, office and all that. Yeah, I like all that, but you need to have a transformational mindset in terms of your investments. Prioritize investments in technologies, right? Prioritize investment in technology that can enhance your solution, enhance your processes. Because at the end, that's actually going to be, that's actually what's going to help you easily navigate uncertainty. So for me, that's it. And another experience, I don't know the nature, I don't know if you're going to be asking me to talk as we do it, because as I share these stories, like I'll just be picking up, nudges. So for instance, I've talked about entrepreneurs being able to travel light, right? So at every point in time, you need to appraise business process, right? Appraise your business process and look at what you're doing in the light of your vision, right? And I'm sure you must have told a lot of your followers about the importance of vision, casting a vision for your business, right? Because it actually gives you a sense of direction as to where you are aiming. And then you can actually always benchmark your achievements. So if you have fallen short of your milestones, all right? So it's very, very important that you have a clear picture of where you are going as a business. Now, I'll tell you something about this pandemic that is very interesting. And this one is also one of the things and the points I always like to make, which is around the subject of preparedness. Somebody rightly said that success is made when preparation, opportunity meets with right. One of the things, I think I was sharing with somebody today, and I said one of the worst places you want to meet yourself, entrepreneur, is to get in that locked up zone of this is what I do, and this is what I will continue to do. What I mean by that, so let's say you are a graphic designer, right? A freelance graphic designer, for instance, and you say, oh, this is what I graphics. I use CorelDRAW, I use Photoshop, and this is year in, year out. You don't add value to yourself. You don't look at changes that are happening within the ecosystem to see how you position yourself. So when I talk about changes happening within the ecosystem, you ask yourself, what is happening in the design world, right? What is it happening in the design world? How is it affecting for my service, right? So for instance, now, there are a lot of tools now that are being developed that allows almost everybody to be able to create the design that they want to do. Two things that, and I'll use this design word, I'll just use it to share with you how you begin to think around how innovative transformational mindset works. So if you look at your ecosystem, right? So for instance, for a graphic designer, what are the elements in the ecosystem, right? So it's looking at the core solution that he renders, which is sits down to do graphic design. Now look at the medium. What are the medium? Now prior to now, your people prioritize what's it called, below the line. So for instance, flyers and all that. So you're doing flyers, you're designing call cards and all that for people. But now these days, what happens? The demand for flyers has dropped.
True.
Right? Now that is impacting on your own business because ultimately, right, you design and you print. I'm just giving a classic example. You design and you print for your people. But now the medium has changed. Technology has come in. More and more people are on social media. People have discovered that, oh, my target audience are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So their priority in terms of medium of communication has changed. So most people are no longer doing so much of flyers. They are concentrating on. Look at another element of the ecosystem that there's going to impact on that designer. The second element is that there are new tools, right? Things like Canva and all that, that makes everybody, ordinary people like you and I, you don't need to go and learn Photoshop, learn web design, learn CorelDRAW, whatever. You just pick up a tool, pay tuition fee, and then drag and drop. You create your simple design that communicates what you want to communicate to your online audience. Now look at that. Look at the shift that has happened. But the graphic designer does not know that this shift is happening. That is the wrong place, the worst place you want to be as an entrepreneur. So what is the solution to it? You must have a dynamic mindset. You must have a transformational mindset. So you must always study the changes that are happening within your ecosystem to know how you begin to position yourself and navigate. Don't say, I've been a hairdresser, I'm not a hairdressing. You need to look at the changes that are happening within that industry and see how do you position yourself. How do you, add additional value to what you are doing, that puts you ahead. Those are the things that you need to do. And that's the simple thing. Whether it's the new normal or pandemic or whatever, it's a simple that we must all, it's a simple principle we must all imbibe at this point, in terms of how to eat uncertainty. Never stay locked up in saying, oh, this is what I'm doing, this is this and that, right? You must always be ahead of the game. Study the ecosystem that you play in. Look at the impact of digital technologies, and look at the impact of digital technologies on that ecosystem. Let me give you something also. Do you know that you need to ask anytime a brand, the leading brand, Samsung, iPhone, anytime they launch a new phone, a new technology, right? You need to ask yourself, first of all, look at what are the features of that technology? And then you ask yourself, how will this impact on my trade? It's as simple as that. And that's the truth. How will this impact on my trade? Now, so we have people that, shooting a commercial for your business would have been a big deal before, right? Not small businesses could afford to shoot a commercial. But right now you have mobile phones that can do a lot. There's what we call convergence. So you have a mobile phone that can shoot high resolution, right?
Yeah.
You have a mobile phone that, you know, if the inbuilt microphone is so bad that, look, for real, then you have a mobile phone that has a convergence of applications that you can even find a video editing app, you know, that you don't need to. So look at what has changed. And then in just 1 minute, you can put together a commercial, a small business. That's it. That's how fast our world has changed. There's been a lot of, you cannot talk about transformation without talking about disruption. And what is disruption? Disruptions are changes, you know, in changes that have been enabled by that have altered the established ways of value creation.
That is changing the status quo.
A lot of business is all about value creation. It's all about value creation. So there are established ways of value creation, but there are some people that are leveraged on changes in the technological ecosystem to alter the established ways of value creation. I give you an example. Uber, the world's leading taxi company, right?
Yeah.
They do not own one single car.
Exactly.
What have they done? They've leveraged on technology to alter the established ways of value creation in transportation. Talk about Airbnb. The same thing has happened. They've leveraged on technology. And you look at different industries like that. All right? I give you another story. This is a personal testimony. We have a virtual event streaming company, which is, I mean, I'm happy to say that we are like the number one now. You know, by glory of God. All right. And how did this start? It was still the same way of, you know, understudying the ecosystem. I was never a video person, even though I had older ones that were in video in non-linear editing space and all that. I knew a bit about video production, but I was never there. But I started to study. In fact, it started with the church, because something just tells me that, look, the way we do church is going to change. And this was about 4 years ago. And then I started to study about the concept of online church, digital church. Now, that was what made me begin to study the technology behind online streaming, video streaming and all that. And you know what? You must put your money where, what did they put, where your mouth is, right? I saw it clearly. I saw that it's just a matter of time. I did not know how it was going to happen, but I was very certain that it was just a matter of time and it will become imperative for everybody. And my mind was even in the church, because look, I looked at it like the way the world is going, you know, there is, in fact, I actually have a full module on what I call the omnichannel church strategy. The omnichannel church strategy. And I was able to, you know, teach the concept to a select group of church leaders, you know, at the early days of the year. It's still a very disruptive concept that is still difficult for people to understand. But I'm sure now, if they go back to the notes, they'll begin to appreciate better. And what I was just saying was that, look, you know, the omnichannel transformation, omnichannel digital transformation, omnichannel concept, saying that, look, every touch point will be able to communicate with themselves. And then digital touch points are going to take a lead now. And that's what is happening is happening today. And so I invested a lot. I invested a lot in media equipment. I invested a lot in knowledge. I invested a lot in, I mean, at the point it looked stupid. I mean, not being a cameraman and investing as much as 1.2 million naira buying a DSLR camera was insane. But I was doing it at a point because I knew this was where the world was going. I was staying ahead in terms of the latest technology, you know, for live streaming and all that. And then all of a sudden, then came the pandemic. And I said, oh God, this is what you were preparing me for. And that's why I talk about preparation. There's times that, and I don't, I mean, for those of us that are not church people, right? But it's good that I tell you that you need to pay attention to the voice of the Spirit. There are times that God just prepares you. You know, there's something my presiding bishop, my father in the Lord, usually says, Dr. Michael Kumpo, he says, you know, God's word oftentimes doesn't make sense. It makes faith. It often doesn't make sense. It makes faith. So if you look at it from a human standpoint, you might not understand where God is taking you to, but when you just begin to prepare yourself. When you prepare yourself, equip yourself, when the opportunity comes, you take it. And that is what has happened. You know, we as the pandemic happened, it was very, very fast. You know, we just quickly officially registered the company. The company was, they were rendering little streaming solutions, you know, as part of online content, you know, solution for our identity company. But when we saw how big this was, we made it a full-fledged media company. And by the grace of God, there's been bookings back to back because you know what? There is demand. And the testimonies from our solution. In fact, 2 weeks ago, somebody called us up to come and salvage, and those are the kind of stories I like, to come and salvage an experience. So they had engaged somebody, you know, there was a very notable Nigerian who, you know, died, and he was a top person in the World Health Organization. And they wanted us to help, you know, they were not okay with the streaming, and they called us in, you know, last minute, and we were there because we had mastered the art and science of live streaming. That's preparation. You know, investing. I was paying for trainings. I was buying applications that I didn't need. I was buying licenses by applications that it appeared I didn't need. But anything that I just saw that looked magical, I just paid. Expensive applications, but look at it now, and that's mindset. Sorry?
It's so valuable today.
It's so valuable, you know, it's so valuable. You know, there's a solution that we deploy for organizations, right? For maybe a lot of organizations engaged us last year that had product launch to do. So they did the virtual product launches. And we have this cloud-based solution that allowed us to stream full HD. As in, I was giving clients 150% money back guarantee. I said, if your stream drops for 1 second, irrespective of, I mean, if it drops for 1 second to HD, not full HD, I'll give you your money back. Because we had invested in a cloud-based solution that ensured that, you know, without even, because even though we even invested in hardware infrastructure, invested in fiber connections and everything, but we did not stop at that. We said, look, there has to be a cloud-based solution that will make us at rest. Because, you know, in fiber solution, it's just a case of, it's just somebody tampering with one of the nodes. Once it's there, you will not have network. So we said, look, there has to be a solution. So there has to be that insatiable quest to know more about what is happening, you know, within your ecosystem. And that's very key. If there's something you must learn as an entrepreneur, always study your ecosystem. Always study your ecosystem.
There might be some persons who might be confused with that word ecosystem. Okay, so let's break it down again with another language. Let's say how others can connect with it.
Okay. So when ecosystem is more of a biological term.
Yeah.
You know, it's a biological term that speaks about an organism's, or, you know, the organism's habitat, how you interrelate with other organisms around you. So, for instance, you know, how do I explain it? But that's just a simple term. So when I talk about your ecosystem as a business person, what I mean is, what are the different elements that interplay? There are the solutions that you offer, the tools that are available for those solutions, the technologies that enhance those solutions, the skills that are required, the people that deliver those skills, all those things. Any of these elements, you must study them and see what is changing.
Yeah.
Whenever there's a change in the technology, whenever there's a technology that enhances or simplifies an aspect of what you do, then you must look in that direction.
Fantastic.
Right? Okay. So that's what I mean by system.
Okay, when you started, you talked about traveling light, that every entrepreneur should travel light. Now, I need you to, I understand what you're saying, but I want you to show more light on it.
Sorry, I didn't get that. When you travel light.
Yes, travel light. So I need you to shed more light on it.
Okay, so when I mean that you travel light, what I mean simply is that first of all, you must be what's it called? You must wire yourself in such a way that you are not resistive to change.
Awesome.
So there are things that tie us down. So I give a classic example, right? When you invest in so much. So there are some people that do not understand the concept of organic business growth. Mm-hmm. So somebody has told you, and I get this a lot from people who, and I'm speaking to some set of people directly now. There are people who have worked in the corporate world for a long time, and then they see that, entrepreneurship is attractive. And then they save up a lot of money, and then they want to start a business. So they resign from the job and take all that money, and the first thing they do, they go and rent a very big apartment, do this, do that, furniture, all the old paparazzi and all that. No. Because if anything changes that requires you dropping that whole, that whole flamboyance, you are restricted. Always tell yourself, you will always think from the mindset of how much I've spent. Do you understand? So if you have that, there's an opportunity for you to go and do something actively, maybe in another city. I spent so much in this place, so I cannot move. But if rather than investing on those physical infrastructure, for instance, you break down your processes and you say, okay, what do I need? What kind of business am I running? Do I need all these heavy investments for me to deliver my core service? What I need to do is, what I need to invest more in, it will be the things that help me build trust and build confidence in the minds of my target audience that I am competent enough to deliver this solution. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to invest in those things. Because guess what? Especially for us in the service-based business, mm-hmm. I cannot remember the last time any client came to visit me. I came to the office to see me. I cannot remember. Do you understand what I'm saying? And you know what I've done all my life? I've run a home office system. So where you set up a workstation, your people come and all that. So because you look at the cost, you look at a lot of factors, you look at a lot of things, that makes you unnecessarily travel heavy. But when you travel light, you invest more in those things and then prioritize technology. That's one thing I must say. And the era we are is not the era somebody will come and say, I don't like technology. I'm sorry. It's not about what you like. It is the de facto medium of interaction, is of engagement now. So you cannot say it's going to save you cost. It's going to save you cost. It's going to save you a lot of things. So it's not a point of saying, I don't like technology. No. You have to, brother, sister, you have to begin to like it. It's not a choice anymore. So there's so much that is happening, There's so much solutions that are available. So you have to be dynamic. You have to. So that's what I mean when I say travel light. When I mean travel light, I'm just saying that, look, you know what? You have to be agile. So anything that is not making, let me give you an example. When you talk about agility, look at a trailer and then look at a Ferrari. Which one will be faster and which one will be easier? Do you understand what I'm saying? And that's the point. And let me not go far. Let me just even use Toyota Corolla, because Toyota Corolla is even cheaper than the trailer.
Exactly.
It's just, I know they both do different things, but the point I'm just making is that some of us unnecessarily turn ourselves into a trailer as business people, as entrepreneurs. We turn our businesses into a trailer when you are supposed to just be like a Ferrari. The time we are is very, very key. I was telling somebody today, I said, I don't want to even know you to know me. Now I want to be known as a media entrepreneur, whatever that means. Because I don't even want to say I'm a web designer, I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. Because what I'm interested in, my primary interest in, is now to know how emerging technologies will unlock opportunities. So everything I'm doing now, I am researching, I'm learning about emerging technologies. So while some people are saying 5G is antichrist, I am looking at 5G and the opportunities that 5G brings to us. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that's the mindset that you have to have. So I'm more of an emerging technology enthusiast that is looking at how emerging technologies will unlock opportunities, both in the cognate area of business that I do, and also looking at the entire business space for me as an entrepreneur and as an investor. All right. So that's it. I hope I answered the question.
Fantastic. Okay. Now, during the pandemic, I remember you started off business. Can you tell us about it? And that business has given birth to another business. More like it's a story. It's your story, which I want you to share.
Okay, so this is a story that, like I said, myself and my wife, we're putting it together because we hope to run a series, or maybe like a session, which is obviously it's going to be a paid session, because what we're doing basically is documenting how the journey, of this pandemic, and how we've been able to navigate and then create a framework, how people can navigate uncertainties, how business people can navigate uncertainties, right? And this particular story is inspiring to me too, because apart from my own strides, I was already sailing along the tide. So I was already prepared. And so when the pandemic came and brought about the opportunities with technology, I was already on the path. But my wife was a divergent path. So my wife she's a fantastic event planner and event decorator. She's by God's grace, she's done so much in our industry. She's an exco of the association. They have an association in Nigeria of event and party planners and all that. And she had a lot of events, big events lined up, which she was planning for clients in 2020. And then all of a sudden, the lockdown happened. And all these event centers started canceling bookings. Event centers started canceling bookings. There was so much uncertainty. And within the first 1 month of the pandemic, of the lockdown, she was almost sliding into depression, And on the flip side, I was very busy. I was doing a webinar here, doing this, and so every time I'm like, I get out, get into my study, and I'm all day. Then I come out, and I notice, she was a bit depressed. She was always on Netflix, and for me, I think I started querying it, like, okay, it's like this is her own way of managing the situation. I was sensitive, and then we got into prayers, and within a few days, when I come down, I just see her late in the night in the kitchen, mixing milk and all that. I just normal. Then after a few days, she prepares something, and then she'll give me. She said, "Taste it. How does it taste?" I said, "What are you trying to do here?" She said, "She's trying to make yogurt." I said, "Oh, really? Okay. I don't think you've gotten the taste though." And she didn't give up, and she continued. Within 2 weeks, she got the exact thing she wanted, and that was how she started making yogurt. From being an event planner to making yogurt, and she made sure that she got a distinctive taste for her yogurt that made her yogurt different from every other yogurt in the market and made it all very irresistible for anybody that tasted it the first time. I'm telling you this right now. I'm telling you. And within the space of 6 months, in fact, she was running the production schedule that was so but even at that, as she's producing, it now got to a point it appeared people were paying upfront for the product. And where you can be as an entrepreneur when people book the product ahead, right? When people book the product ahead, the demand is outweighing the supply. And so yeah, you need to taste the yogurt, you taste it, and she started making this yogurt. And guess what? In the space of 6 months, this yogurt birthed. Now we discovered another problem. So she now started having demands from different places. So she relied on a logistic company to do deliveries. And unfortunately, the logistic company, how logistics are, they will pick up and then by the time they are getting to the people, maybe the office has closed or something, and it was becoming, we saw a problem there and we quickly asked ourselves, how do we solve this problem? And then the business, thankfully, the business had gotten to a point where it could afford 2 brand new logistic bikes. So we invested in the logistic business. And so aside from servicing our clients, so there's no longer an issue of lead time deliveries for her own products. But even at that, knowing the needs that some of her people, her friends within the ecosystem also have, she started solving their own problems with that delivery service also. And so you see how 2 businesses was born from a situation that would have been out of a situation that would have made her slide into depression. So there was really she really didn't miss the event business again, even though the event business is still there, right? But God opened her eyes to see opportunity. And that's one of the things we must always learn. Somebody said something to me at the beginning of the pandemic, and I will never forget. He said, Ugo, search deep, there is wealth transfer. Anytime you see this kind of thing happen around the world, there is a shaking and there is unprecedented wealth transfer. You need to position yourself so that don't spend your time complaining. No. Think deep. Don't spend your time complaining. When you spend your time complaining, you suck from your productive energy, and then you find that you begin to, you're unable to think and see the opportunities that the challenges are creating. The Bible talks about the gross darkness. It says light shines more when there is gross darkness. So the darker the night, the brighter my light, right? And so when men say there is a casting down, what did the Bible say? That we will say that there is a lifting up. So that's it. So I got that thing at the beginning, and I said to myself, we are racing against time. There is a wealth transfer. And that's what a lot of people need to know. Anytime you see, as an entrepreneur, anytime you see that there is this kind of, wind, let me use it like that way, always stay in the position of opportunity, because there are opportunities. What has happened is that there will be a shift, there will be a wealth transfer. And that's what has happened. There are a lot of people. I started a series I call Pandemic Stories. So a lot of fantastic stories of people who took advantage of the opportunities that the pandemic created. So whilst a lot of people were saying, there's a problem, I didn't even have time to complain. I've not even had time to complain that there is a pandemic or anything, because there are opportunities every day. There are opportunities. And so as an entrepreneur, you have to learn. And it takes a positive mindset. It takes a positive mindset. And that's where the God factor comes in, right? That's where the God factor comes in, because, like I said, God's word does not make sense. It makes faith. What is faith? Faith is, calling things that be not as though they were. Is confident assurance. Confident assurance that head or tail, I win. Confident assurance that head or tail, I win. So no matter what happens, no matter how bad things get, in this same place, I will thrive. In this same land, I will thrive.
Okay, that's awesome. Now, let me come to during this pandemic. I must tell you the truth that 2020 was one of my best years ever. It was really amazing. Just like you rightly said, in every problem, there is an opportunity. And the world is really transpiring for those who position themselves. Now, let's talk to employees right now, those who have jobs, who earn salary. It doesn't matter how much you earn. Now, what I want to ask now is, how do you think whoever earns salary now can position himself, irrespective of his or her job, in order to stay afloat or to take part in this wealth transfer?
So what you need to do is very simple, right? To position yourself, it is very, very simple. Be ahead of the game. Do you understand? Always be ahead of the game. Always add value to yourself, right? Always add value to yourself. Look at things within your organization that it appears that, look, there's always a challenge, and be ahead. It might not be your level. It might be a level higher than you. But one day an opportunity will come that people are helpless and they say, oh, how do we get? And then you just say, look, sir, I can't step in. Let me try. Let me give it a try. And the moment you give it a try, you will see. One of the things in my work days, one of the things I did personally when I was in a paid employment, one of the things that I did that helped me was that I always invested in knowledge. I was that guy that 80% or 70% of my income was going into servicing my what's it called, instrumental payment for a certification program. So it was going to my instrumental payment for a certification program. At a point, I had a certification that as an entry level, I had a certification in our field, which was then supply chain. I had a certification that none of my line managers had. I did not realize I had a qualification. In fact, it was so funny that I now understood some of the things that they were doing as a routine. I understood the implication. I saw the errors in some of the things they were doing. From an international trade standpoint. But because they got into the system where, they just do things, they just learn to do, they just do this, they never, knew why, and so I always wanted to know the why behind everything. The most amazing. When purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. So I always wanted to know why. If you ask me to do this, and that's another thing you must have, always question assumption. You must always question assumption. That's one of the key competencies you must have, right? You don't just say, they've been doing it all along. Before I came into this company, that's how things have been done. No. Another thing you must learn is if there is any time you have to go the extra mile, it is now. Be the person in the team that the team can rely on to go the extra mile. One day, you are going to catch the dividend. Because what you are doing is building an equity on reliability. So they can rely on you. There is a day that will come that the team lead will say, we need somebody that will do this. And then it become apparent that nobody in that team can be, you might not be the most qualified, but you will be the most reliable person to be there. Because the most qualified might not be reliable.
Thank you. I love that. I love that. Okay, viewers, you've heard a lot from Ugo. If you have questions, please drop it. I'm going to take just 2 questions, okay, because of our time. What was that thing you said? The most qualified will not be the most reliable.
So you build your reliability equity. And building your reliability equity comes from your ability to constantly go the extra mile.
So be a value chain dispenser.
Exactly.
Be a value chain dispenser. Like I always tell people, always use value more than cash value, because cash value limits you. Cash value puts you in a box, but use value gets you outside the box. It puts you ahead of your peers. Ugochukwu, it has been an amazing afternoon. I'm going to sit back. There are some dangerous nuggets you dropped. I'm going to sit back like my usual way and go through the video again. When I noticed the way the pandemic was going, and I said to myself that I need to start doing some things differently from other persons. And I started positioning myself, and it's paying off. It's paying off. I do less travel. I count the number of times I've traveled since this pandemic started, but the impact has been so much. And it's because we decided to embrace the new normal, or rather, we decided to embrace the normal which the pandemic brought to the fore. So, if you have any question, once again, you can put it up in the comment section so that Ugo can handle it quickly. Now, while we are waiting for the question, just a quick reminder once again, I'm going to be running a mentorship class. It's a free mentorship training from the 1st to the 3rd of March 2021. Get your friends, get your team members, get your loved ones. It doesn't matter if you are in a paid employment, you are a network marketer, whatever you do, you benefit a lot from this. It's my own way of giving back to the society. Okay, one of the things I've also come to realize is that most times we attend trainings and we have a whole lot in our head, but we don't know how to put these things into practical. So from this training, I want to move you from the theoretical to the practical. What are the areas we need to cover? Number one, people don't believe what you share. Maybe you have a small business. You talk about it on social media, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, whatever, and people don't seem to believe what you share. I'm going to help you to uncover why people are not believing what you're sharing. Number two, people show interest, but they don't take action. We'll deal with that aspect. Then those who took action, they don't get started, they don't pay, or they don't grow in the business. I'm going to help you how to get out of that bottleneck. Then those who got started, they aren't committed. They are neither here nor there. One of the things that has helped me, that has given me an edge among my peers and has also given me speed, is duplication. So these are the things we'll learn in this training. All right. So if you haven't registered, try to register. I'm going to drop the link again in the comment section. You can also check me out on my YouTube, on this Facebook page, and you can also private chat me. I'll send the link so you can share with your friends and your loved ones. So any question for Ugo? I haven't seen any question, but it's been an amazing time. Ugo, your last comments, so we can wrap it up for the day.
Okay, so I think what I just want to say, my last comments will be around dropping a word of encouragement for somebody, right? So I don't know who is listening to this program now, you're an entrepreneur, you're a professional, and it appears that you've tried all you think you know, and it appears that things are not working out the way you expect. And I just want to say something to you. Don't quit trying. All right? Don't quit trying. Yes, some people, their stories are, their gestation periods are very short. Some other people, it's usually very long. But one thing you must know is that every effort you put in builds an equity that you can leverage on tomorrow. So no effort is a waste. Don't quit trying, and then don't be rigid. All right, try to be dynamic, and don't stay locked up in a particular way. Try to be dynamic and agile in your approach. But one thing you must never do is don't ever give up. There is very bright light at the end of the tunnel. God bless you.
That's amazing. God bless you, my brother. I appreciate you so much. It's been an amazing time. We have learned a lot, and I'm so sure the viewers will have also learned. Please drop your favorite emoji for Ugo. He's been a blessing wholesale. Now, remember to share the video. Remember to tag your friends. Let everyone also benefit from this kind gesture. God bless you so much. We appreciate you. Saturday next week is another time on the meet and greet with the FBI coach. All right, this is where we're going to sign out and have a wonderful day. One of my big bros is in the house. I can't afford not to talk about this man before I get out of here. You know, one of the things that started my journey in the entrepreneurship world is my big bros here. This lie. I hail you, sir. The first Robert Kiyosaki's training I attended.
We all hear this lie.
He was the one that hooked me up to it. He's a great man. I appreciate you, sir. You are doing well. In the voice of what's his name again, Mr. Macaroni. You are doing well, sir. Thank you very much, and I appreciate everyone. And have a wonderful Saturday afternoon.